Good morning, everybody. Rise and shine. Ready or not, let's do this. This is a ridiculously early morning webinar to get your day started off right, whether you're ready for it or not. There's a little bit of mindset, a little bit of business sense, something to get your MLM, network marketing, small business, brick and mortar, online or off, up and running like a well-oiled machine. Whether you're a newbie, a seasoned veteran, or somewhere in between, there's something here for you. Welcome. My name is Mina. I'm coming to you from New York City, out in the borough of Queens. I created this ridiculously early morning webinar to push myself out of my comfort zone, share with you what I'm learning as I continue to grow my business online with the hopes of inspiring you to do the same. Let's grow into success together. This webinar has two parts here. It has a mindset moment and it has a business sense moment. Today we're going to talk about the mindset moment. And if you're watching a replay, you see that I've titled this webinar, What is the Worst Thing That Can Happen? So for today's mindset moment, we're going to talk about fear. Now I've been listening a lot, I have my little favorite cup with lemon, warm lemon. I'm going to put it aside here. I've been listening to a lot of Les Brown lately, and he's very inspiring. He's a very strong motivator, and he's just what I need for that kick in the pants that you sometimes need to keep moving forward. And I've been listening a lot to his teachings on fear. Fear is false expectations appearing real, right? False expectations appearing real, or false experiences appearing real. I think fear is false expectations appearing real. You know, we all have our fears, and a lot of people have fears that can be debilitating and serve as roadblocks for them to move forward. Like, for example, I've spoken about before I had a fear of the phone, and it's something that I still struggle with a bit, where just picking up the phone to call people is a little bit of a struggle for me. But I had a small victory yesterday, a very small victory, because I applied what Les Brown spoke about. And I asked myself the question, what is the worst thing that can happen? Now, before I delve more into that question, I want to share with you some of my notes that I took when I was watching that talk by Les Brown. And he says here that you're never going to have a fear-free existence. We all have fears, and that's just part of life. So in order to move forward and to grow into the potential that you have in you and to fulfill your mission that you have here in life, you're going to have to find a way to conquer your fears and just mow through them and just do what you need to do. Sometimes you need to do stuff afraid. But once you do it afraid, you feel liberated afterwards because you did it. And it's better to do it than to not do anything at all and wonder what would have happened if you did it. You got it? He says here, most people go through life running scared from things that have no teeth in them. He spoke of a funny experience that a friend of his had, where he moved to a new neighborhood. He had these neighbors who had a bulldog. And every day he would be coming home from work, and this bulldog would chase him. And he would be like running for his life, because he was scared of the bulldog. And then one day, he got tired of running from the dog. And so he said, you know what, I'm just going to face this bulldog, So he was coming home, and then he saw that bulldog, and he picked up a rock, and the bulldog came running after him, and he met the bulldog on, and as the bulldog jumped on him, and he looked at the bulldog, he realized the bulldog had no teeth, which was so funny, because what was the worst thing that the dog could do, was just like maul him with his gums, And so he was like, get away from me, you bulldog. He chased the dog away. So he faced his fear. So what Les Brown teaches is that most of the fears that people are running away from have no teeth in them. False expectations appearing real. So what happened to me yesterday? Well, my husband just started his own business. And I'm, because he's working all day out on the field, I take care of the paperwork. And he had just got some new insurance, and I had to make sure that, it was paid for. it went through, the check went through, and I had to get the insurance cards. And I had this fear of picking up the phone, which was, something that I have worked on and overcome, but I still had those little, little setbacks there. And so he says, I want you to call them and tell them, okay, the check has cleared. I need my insurance cards. So I was hemming and hawing, and I was like, no, my phone just died, which was true. My phone had just died, but it was charging away. I had already charged up to a good sizable amount. And I sat there thinking about it, and I was thinking about caving into the excuse that my phone died and I can't call, and you should just go tomorrow or today and just get your insurance cards. And so I asked myself, what is the worst thing that can happen? Oh, she can hang up on me, or she can get angry at me, and I realized, what I was feeling, the fear that I was feeling was just ridiculous, because it was true. We paid for our insurance. We now need our insurance cards. So I called and I said, and I didn't have to speak to the person that he wanted me to speak to. All I had to say, I'm calling to check the status of my insurance cards. And the woman helped me, and she says, oh, they're here. And I said, can he pick them up tomorrow? She says, no, I can email them to you right now, and done. And she did. And I had felt a huge weight lift off my shoulders, because I pushed through that fear. I conquered that fear. And you can do the same too. So the next time you are feeling a certain fear to do something, whether it could be to give a presentation in front of a group of people, or it could be you're going in for that job interview, or you're going to go and ask for something that you've been scared to ask for in your current job, like maybe a raise or a promotion, or maybe you've decided that you're not happy with where you're at currently in your job and you want to step out and be an entrepreneur yourself, or you want to go and look for something different. And you have that fear of like, what's the unknown? You got to push through that. Now, I'm not saying that you quit your job because you need the job to pay your bills, but maybe you want to strike out, not strike out if that's, well, you want to step out and do something different. And you could start doing that something different while still working your job, so you could pay the bills and eat, and still start working on that side thing that is your dream. Let me look at my notes. So one of the things that Les Brown teaches, aside from asking yourself that question, what is the worst thing that can happen, is that when you have that fear, you need to acknowledge it and you need to embrace it. Not embrace it in the terms of using it as a crutch, but acknowledge that you have that fear, embrace it instead of running away from it. Because he teaches that when we, what is the word? When you resist it, when you resist those fears, it's going to persist and it's going to keep on following you. Like, I was resisting the fear by saying, yeah, my phone's dead. I can't call them right now. And that was just a lame excuse. It was resisting the fear. It's going to keep on chasing you or be back there. So it's important that you embrace your fear and acknowledge it. Okay, I still feel a little bit queasy about calling people and talking to people, but what is the worst thing that could happen? They're a voice on the other end of the phone. They can't see me. I can't see them. I could be making faces at them. They don't realize it, but I have to do what I have to do. So it's important to embrace your fear, acknowledge it, and move on. Acknowledge your fear, carry yourself accordingly, and do what makes sense for you. And that's what I did. I did what made sense for me. I acknowledged my fear and I asked myself, what is the worst thing that could happen? And then I made the phone call and I realized what made sense for me is that I don't have to talk to that main person. I could talk to her assistant, and her assistant is fully capable of helping me out as well. And she did. So that was a big weight lifted off my shoulders. Now, there are certain steps you can take here to acknowledge and conquer your fear. And the first is, well, what Les Brown, let me go back a little bit. What Les Brown says, that you got to watch out for things that feed your fear. Watch out for things that feed your fear. Okay, well, I think that's the same as trying to find excuses to not conquer your fear. So you got to watch out for things like that. When you feel yourself like backing away from your fear instead of heading it instead of facing it head on, you got to watch out for that and say no, because that fear is my roadblock to success. I've learned that your fear is where your success lies. So my success lies in conquering, talking on the phone and talking to people. So got to watch out for the lame excuses that I make to not use the phone. So watch out for things that feed your fear. When you face your fears, it's not as bad as you think. And I realized that yesterday when I faced my fear and I just did it, it's not as bad as you think. So how do we handle that fear? And the first thing is to imagine the worst case scenario, which is what I already did. Imagine the worst case scenario. What is the worst thing that can happen? It's better to do things badly than not to do them at all, and to keep on doing them until you get better at them. And that's how one of the ways you can conquer your fears. Imagine the worst case scenario and just do it anyway. Visualize yourself being more than capable of handling it. Visualization is a very powerful technique. Every day I visualize myself talking on stage. I visualize what I'm going to wear, even up to the shoes I'm going to wear, the venue that I'm going to be at. I visualize myself talking in front of lots of people. Visualize yourself handling that fear and being more than capable of handling that fear, because you are more than capable. You've got to see it in your mind's eye and know that you got what it takes. So you have to see it in your mind's eye. Know that you got what it takes to face your fears and to conquer your fears, because you are more than able. And that's what Les Brown says. You are worthy, more than worthy. You are more than capable. You can do this. And I believe that. And you should believe that for yourself as well. He says here, you should say this to yourself. I must see in my mind's eye, see myself confronting my fears, handling my fears. I am more than able. That's a great thing to say to yourself. I must see in my mind's eye, see myself confronting my fears, handling my fears. I am more than able. Ask yourself this as you look into your future. What fears is keeping me from controlling my destiny? Think about that. What are the fears that are, putting roadblocks towards your destiny? And then ask yourself that question. What is the worst thing that can happen? And just do it. I know it's easier said than done, but do it. Because I guarantee you, and I promise you, you will feel much better after you go through that roadblock, after you move through that fear. Okay? Think about this. This is powerful. Think about this. We must give permission to our fear to immobilize us. So you can't let fear control you. Fear would only control you if you give it permission to do so. Those negative thoughts that creep into your head, they will not take hold of you if you do not give them permission. If you stop those negative thoughts entering your mind, and you stop it, and you reverse, and you replace it with positive thoughts, you have control over what you think, over your behaviors. With the blush to my notes. The third thing to realize in conquering your fears is to accept yourself. Accept fear as a fact and not as a force. Fear is a fact. We all have fears, but it's not a force to keep you back. Let me say that again. Fear is a fact. We all have fears, but fear is not a force that holds you back. And another thing that Les Brown teaches is to watch your inner conversation. Discipline your thinking and your emotions. Because if you don't, your mind will take you on a wild trip. And he says sometimes you've got to talk to yourself. You've got to be your own motivator. And Les Brown talks of experiences that he has had where his first time he was speaking in front of like 10,000 people. And when he started to think about it, he started to panic, and he started to like hyperventilate. And people were like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" He said, I'm fine. And then what he did was, imagine what was the worst thing that could happen. But he also started to talk to himself. He said, Les, you've got this. Why are you scared of 10,000 people? And he just started to become his own personal motivator. And he was able to speak in front of 10,000 people. And then there was another time where he was to speak in front of some very influential people in order to get a contract. And he had competitors, and he heard them talking about all what they had going for them. And they had like so much more than him, and he started to compare himself to them, and he started to feel scared. And then he realized he had to stop that inner thinking. He had to stop that inner voice, and he had to talk to himself. So he had to like go to another room and say, Les Brown, you got this. You can't be comparing yourself to other people. You are more than able, more than capable. He motivated himself so much that when he walked into that room to give his presentation, he said to the people there, don't you do anything before I talk to you. And he ended up getting that contract. So sometimes, Les teaches, you've got to talk to yourself. And sometimes that is the most intelligent conversation you will ever have with yourself. So that is the other thing that you need to do, is to accept yourself, know that you're more than worthy, and talk to yourself and motivate yourself to plow through that fear. So that is the mindset portion of this hangout. What is the worst thing that can happen in regards to your fear? Know that fear is false expectations appearing real, that fear is a fact, but it's not a force to hold you back. Now we're going to move into the business sense moment. And these are things that I find online that I know is applicable to your business. And it has a lot to do with productivity. We all want to be more productive in our lives. We all want to be able to do more in less time, but we feel overwhelmed. We feel we are affected by the busy gene. If there's such thing as a busy gene, everybody's busy, everybody wears busy like a badge. We don't have time to exercise. We don't have time to think. We don't have time to meditate or pray. I found this amazing article on entrepreneur.com. I will share the link below. And it has to do with just transforming your life in 6 minutes a day. Do you have 6 minutes? Everybody has 6 minutes. So let's do this. Okay, so 6 minutes of every morning can begin like this. Minute 1 is for silence. When you wake up, have a minute of silence. I watch a lot of YouTubers, a lot of beauty YouTubers, and they do these get ready with me videos. And the very first thing they do when they wake up is they reach for their cell phone, and they're going through their Facebook and their Twitter and their Instagram, and they're just checking everything and making sure everything is up to par with their social media. And your first minute should be of silence. Just experience the silence around you and not think about the chatter that's about to surround you as you start your day. Have a minute of silence where you can have a minute of gratitude, of being thankful. You say a prayer if you're religious, you believe in God. Have a minute of silence before you start your day. A little bit of meditation, just enjoying the silence around you, appreciative of having another day of life, being appreciative that you have a roof over your head, you have a warm bed to sleep in, you have clothes to wear, you have food in the fridge. Gratitude is a very powerful thing. So enjoy that minute of silence. That is the first minute out of 6. The second minute is for affirmations. A is for affirmations. And here this article says is pull out and read your page of affirmations. Remember a couple of webinars back, I spoke about the power of putting pen to paper and physically writing out stuff. When you physically write out stuff, it is more apt to stay in your head and your mind. So you should do the same when you write down your affirmations. Pull out your page of affirmations and read them out loud and affirm yourself and tell yourself you're more than able. So that really motivates you. It also talks about, looking over what actions you must take re-energizes you to focus on doing what's necessary today to take your life to the next level. So A is for affirmations, minute 2. Minute 3 is to visualize. Visualization. Close your eyes and visualize what it will look like and feel when you reach goals. Like visualize yourself talking on stage if you have an MLM, a network marketing business, or even an affiliate program. Visualize yourself hitting goals, hitting those pin levels, those leadership levels. Visualize that. Visualize yourself having a productive day, ticking off the tasks in your agenda, being a very productive entrepreneur. So visualize, that's minute 3. Minute 4 is exercise. Now you can do exercise in under 60 seconds. You can stretch, you can jump around, you can do some sit-ups, some push-ups. You can take out your jump rope and do a minute of exercise. and you are on your way to becoming more healthier because you're pumping blood to your brain, and your brain needs that exercise, that oxygen, so that you can think more clearly and be more productive. Minute 5 is for reading. Read something positive, something from a self-help book. It could be something from your Bible, or something that you love to read. Maybe you're reading a great book by Gary Vaynerchuk or Tim Ferriss. Read a page. Take 60 seconds to read a page. And minute 6 is for scribing, which is writing down in your journal. Write down something you're grateful for, something you're proud of, and something that you're committed to creating that day. So that is 6 minutes. And it's based on the acronym SAVERS. So it is a sequence that combines the 6 most effective personal development practices known to man. So the author of this article says that while someone can invest hours on these practices, it takes 1 minute for each, or 6 minutes total, to see extraordinary results. So let us review. Now, minute 1 stands for S, which is silence. Start your day with a minute of silence. Be grateful. Have a small prayer. Minute 2 is for affirmation, which is A. A is for affirmations. Take out your page of affirmations and read them out loud. Write some more down. Number 3 is V for visualization. Visualize yourself having a productive day. Visualize yourself reaching your goals and being an uber successful entrepreneur. Visualize yourself talking on stage and inspiring many people, or creating webinars and inspiring loads of people, writing that successful blog and inspiring many people. Minute 4, which is E, is for exercise. Do a couple of sit-ups, push-ups, running in place, some jump ropes. Get that oxygen flowing to your brain so that you can think more clearly and be more productive. Minute 5, R, is for reading. Read something out of your favorite self-help book to inspire you more and get your creative juices flowing. And minute 6, which is S, is for for scribing, for writing down something in your journal, writing down more affirmations, or what you're going to be creative that day, or what you're going to accomplish that day. Savers. 6 minutes to totally transform your life. So we've reached the end of today's Rise and Shine, Ready or Not, Let's Do This. If you enjoyed what I shared with you today, subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, and share with a friend or two who you know will find value from this. We can continue the conversation on my blog, which I will leave below, minagpalakibai.com, and I will also leave the links to the inspiration of what I used today to talk about, of what I was inspired by today and I spoke about on today's webinar. Have a happy Wednesday, folks. Happy hump day for some people. Thank you for stopping by on Rise and Shine, Ready or Not, Let's Do This. My name is Mina, coming to you from New York City, out in the borough of Queens. See you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Enjoy your Wednesday, folks. Cheers.